when we kind of, thought about, just like any other company, and obviously, we are providing 24/7 support. And just before the pandemic, when we know that, China is hit with this disease, and we kind of need to prepare well because it's going to impact the entire world. We were looking at a typical traditional BCP strategy, business continuity program, of multiple locations within the same site, multiple sites within the same location, or from one location to another location. So these are some of the strategies that we have it as a business continuity program, right?
Okay.
And suddenly, the prime minister comes one fine day in the television and says, what, there's going to be a lockdown. And and thankfully, that just before a week, we kind of thought through and said, what, we got to be prepared for the worst, and let's try out work from home scenario with a limited number of resources. And that's how we kicked off. And given that, the prime minister immediately came and said, there's going to be a lockdown, then all hands on deck. IT came into play, and we've got a business continuity team. So, and plus the contact center management, we were able to do a 50% work from home in a record 2 weeks time.
Wow.
And whilst initially this was not the idea, I'm sure I can bet with anybody, no organization would have thought of having a BCP scenario as a work from home. Everything was hit out of the park. The ball was out of the park in terms of whatever BCP strategy that we used to have. Nothing was coming into effect at that time, given the lockdown. And the only thing that we can try and do is the work from home. I think we kind of did that in a much faster way compared to some of the organizations. I have friends across organizations. They kind of suddenly realized, oh, you know what, they'll have to scale up getting the asset first. That's the first requirement, right? You need to have the asset to distribute it. And then your infrastructure has to kind of, work very well for so that you are able to handle the contact center operation seamlessly.
Yeah.
I think everything fell in place for us, and the best part is, our people cooperated with us, coming and collecting the laptop or distributing it to at their home, checking all the aspects so that we don't kind of lose out on the recording of the call, right? That becomes very critical, and it's a regulatory requirement as well. When a customer wants us to go back to the call recording and listen to it, we have everything in place. So it was a whilst we thought it is going to be a nightmare, it wasn't like that. We were able to seamlessly do it. And I think this was a goal any chief operating officer or a CEO would want to have to, how do we drive the cost down? But pandemic did it. It's not the CEO or the COO who was pushed to allow agents to work from home. Pandemic kind of helped us. And there was a relaxation from the government side in terms of DOT regulations to allow work from home. That kind of helped us. And the fact that, right now we are 100% work from home model. We are thinking about, I'm sure many of the organizations thinking about just giving up the property and continue this as a long-term strategy and not just, restrict only during this pandemic, right? When we come out of pandemic, I'm sure most of the organizations across various industries, take it healthcare, banking and financial services, communications, retail, F&A, all of them are going to focus on having some amount of workforce work from home as a strategy. So they will give up property, and that's going to help in reducing the cost. That's my experience from the work from home. So it's been a phenomenal journey, and thankfully, it's not the leadership team who thought about it. It's just the pandemic pushed all of us to move towards this agenda.
Yeah.